Do you believe this is an orchestrated, planned event by somebody?
They do not believe in gender identity or binary. They don't believe in the creator.
How can they not like you if you're black and Black Lives Matter and you stand against BLM?
The Bible could potentially be banned simply because it talks against some of these behaviors.
Who's behind it? Can you put a face? Can you put a name? Can you put an organization?
And Amazon will say Bible and ban it.
They'll
take it down.
Everybody, David here. Welcome to David Heavener TV. Guess who I have? I have Star Parker. She's a star. Why is she a star? Because she's a star because she's willing to stand up and speak out on subject and matter that the church won't, right? And culture, the counterculture, the cancel culture, they're trying to make us afraid, Star.
Right.
What is if you had 15 seconds to tell someone in an elevator the most important thing on your heart, what would it be?
It would be that we need to end abortion. It is a crime against humanity, so we should not be doing it. Not only does abortion kill a human that God wanted to live, but it also feeds a narrative. It feeds a narrative that women do not have control of their sexual impulses. And as a result of that narrative now seeping into our society, marriage has 100% collapsed because women, before sexual activity, usually would have a man marry her. And as a result, we have fatherless children. As a result of that, we have a whole lot of crime. And as a result of that, we have a whole lot of death. And as a result of that, we have a whole lot of people in jail. So I want to end abortion.
Well, that's a long elevator ride, let me tell you.
I'm on the 6th floor in this building, and on my building, I'm on the I'm on the 6th floor there too.
You mentioned fatherless children. I want to get into the urban, quote, urban thing. This thing drives me nuts because when you think of urban, other people, they want to say urban has to do with African American, urban has to do with black. Not necessarily urban.
Well, not anymore, because the reason that urban was termed in the 70s to mean black is because how do you write into law in the expansion of the welfare state black people when you have a constitution?
So you have to give them a different name, right?
Yeah, you had to give them a different name, so it became urban. So everything was urban. Urban policy this and urban policy that, but it was all about black people. And Monahan, when he was over at the Labor Department, told President Johnson not to do it, but he wanted to do it because he said, if I do it, then I can keep the blacks voting for Democrats for 200 years. So they did it, and they put this welfare state in their plans. And then next thing you know, it collapsed family. And now we're looking at a situation to where urban and black are working together because of the challenges in the community. But you're right. Most people, when they think of urban, we're talking about space.
Yeah.
And if you think about the black community in space, fewer live in urban situations than live in suburban and or rural.
No, exactly. And Star, do you believe this is an orchestrated, planned event by somebody in order to move people into a welfare system, to have them depend on the government? It seems like it's too well oiled. Like I look at how things have come down. What say you on that? Oh,
it absolutely is. It's communism. There's no question about it. And if they're saying the devil, the same devil who didn't believe God in the garden, that he would get mankind redeemed again, and then he did, and sent him in a way that the devil couldn't figure it out because he sent him as a little bit baby. But yes, it's orchestrated. We've seen it, and they've experimented, and now we're at the place where it's not just the black community that's looking at some of the social challenges of big government. We're looking at our whole society collapsing.
Of course, because of COVID, the excuse they're sending out these, I call them welfare checks, $1,500 here, $1,400 here, $3,000 here. See, they're getting us used to depending on someone else instead of what the Bible says. Go out, work with your hands, don't be idle. Right?
That's exactly right. It's interesting because in my work at CURE, the Center for Urban Renewal and Education, we actually try to dismantle welfare policy. We've spent $22 trillion in this war on poverty, $900 billion annually in our budgets, and we're seeing now expansions, not just expansions to destroy more based in race and ethnicity and all of these things we're hearing about critical race theory and race equity, but also to then add the special category for LGBTQ.
Right.
What we're seeing with the Equality Act that's moving through the Congress now that we at CURE and many others are trying to fight and trying to not become law is an expansion of the Civil Rights Act. So everything that we're seeing in terms of big government in the area of racial interest will also be in the area of gender interest and what we call SOGI, sexual orientation, gender identity. So the church will be really in the doghouse if that happens, because the Bible could potentially be banned simply because it talks against some of these behaviors.
Exactly. In California, I released a video on the AB something bill, and boy, they got it through the assembly.
Yeah.
And then we got a couple videos out that went viral, and I guess maybe they freaked out, pulled back. But they're trying to ban verbiage that's in the Bible. They won't say Bible,
right,
but the verbiage that's in the Bible. So here's the thing.
And Amazon will say Bible and ban it.
Oh,
yeah, they'll take it down. Yeah, no question.
Yeah,
but you're right. The government's afraid to do that yet. They're not doing that step yet. But make no mistake, everywhere you see communism, you do see atheism. So yes, you won't be able to get a hands on one.
Absolutely. So, Star, where do you see this thing going? If you let me back up here. Let me paint a scenario. I call it cyanide soup. You got a bunch of broth there, and you're dipping in a little bit of BLM, you're dipping in LGBTQ, you're dipping in cancel culture, you're dipping in urban development, so they say. You stir it around. If someone doesn't turn the burner off that soup and it keeps cooking, where do you see this thing ending up down the road?
Well, we know where that scenario will go, but thanks be to God, we've turned the heat down. When you think about what happened when the Tea Party showed up, when they woke up to see some of this reality, they changed the Congress. When they then had another opportunity, they sent Donald Trump. We needed a brick against the wall. This was one of those moments that you better have somebody that says no more. So in fact, in my book, the last book that I wrote was about Donald Trump. It was about this culture war. And when you think about where we came from there, which is now more exposure for what the left has in mind, then we get hit with COVID in the year 2020. Oh no, this is all God's hand, because society's awake now. They see what they're having in their government funded, union controlled schools. They see what they're doing in the workspaces. They're hearing it out of the mouth of Joe Biden, the very president of the country. If nothing else coherent he has said, he did tell us that election was about the heart and soul of America. And now we're seeing what that means. So I'm very, very encouraged that not just is the heat turning down, but we're taking the matches. I think that we're going to be excitingly surprised, not just by what we're seeing in Virginia. I mean, they actually put a conservative as their candidate this time from the Republican Party. That hasn't happened in a while. And so we're starting to sense that people are waking up and saying, we will be arrested to keep this crap out of our schools. So I'm encouraged. But, you know, it gets dark first. It gets dark, really dark before the light. And so while I didn't want to see it get so dark, I'm happy that it is, because once you find out that Christianity can slip away right in front of our eyes in our lifetime, you might fight for it.
I tell you, I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you. A few people stand up. Last question. I'm going to say BLM, but I could say a lot of different things. But let's say BLM. You stand against it for certain principles, right? But you're black. How can they not like you if you're black and Black Lives Matter and you stand against BLM? How do they justify that? You're a black and your life matters. I'm speaking in their terms. Not.
No, I understand. No, because they understand it's a culture war, and they know that race matters or emotional matters, so they divide. And once they can get that division, then they can pass their agenda. Their agenda is clear, and my agenda is very inconsistent with theirs. That's why I don't qualify for their movement, and neither do any of the other African Americans. Well, we have to recognize that a third of black people in this country poll as evangelical and conservative. What we have to recognize is 22% say that they are politically conservative. What the GOP has to do is go get the 14% and have them vote their values. And so this is a work of the political, because that's what BLM is. It's a political machine, and they're not separated out from the rest of the political machine of the left. It's a group called Indivisible, and there are like 89 groups in there that we can identify, and no telling how many other little secret ones. That's why at the snap of a finger, they could show up in every street in the country and start terrorizing the people that live there and threaten their businesses and their living spaces. So we are in a war. We're in a culture war. Make no mistake. But God is on our side. He didn't need too many to push them back.
Absolutely. I lied. That wasn't my last question. But this is, who's behind it? Ultimately, other than Satan, we understand we're close to the end times. We understand the Bible talks about things rolling out like this, but who's behind it? Can you put a face? Can you put a name? Can you put an organization?
Well, I just said there are 89 of the organizations that we know of, but when you think about the movement itself, it's secular statism against biblical freedom. So I don't know that we can say it's one particular person because it's a philosophy. It's a philosophy of that. In fact, what R.C. Sproul said, he said it so well in an expose that he did on statism. He said statism is a philosophy of government to where the state thinks that they're not just the final authority. They believe that they are the ultimate agent of redemption. So they can't coexist with the church. They have to supplant it. So throughout history, you've seen various faces come up to keep promoting this worldview, but the worldview is rooted in Scripture. It's in the devil. There's no way around it. Good and evil have been struggling, and there's always going to be that question of, are you sure God said? The religion of the left is called monism. They do not believe in gender identity or binary. They don't believe in the Creator, and this is why the biological clock stands in their way, why they want abortion. This is what we're seeing with the trans and the LGs and the Qs and everything else in this movement, because it is a struggle between Christianity and monism.
Wow. You mentioned that when you go out in public, you tell people a different name. You don't use the word star. Is that true? You use a different name so they don't know who you are because you're not very well liked?
Well, that's one of the reasons. It's true. I mean, I am in a security protection program, and in fact, while all my friends were like, I'm not putting on a mask, I'm like, I'm loving these masks. I can actually go outside to restaurants again.
Hold it. You're in a security protection program, and you're on my show? Where is I want to know where my security is out there. No, listen, I really do appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's so much needed, and I want to tell you guys out there, it's important to understand that if we don't speak up as Christians, if we don't have the same tenacity, use the same power as the dark side, it's going to be a rough ride, right?
And it already is a rough ride, and I think a whole lot of Christians are finding out just how rough it can be.
Amen. Star, how can they get in contact with you?
Curepolicy.org, urbancure.org, Star Parker, anything, and they're going to find me.
Just Google it. You hope they don't find you. You hope the dark side doesn't find you.
Oh, no, they'll find where I am in my work, and we're based in Washington, D.C. I run a policy institute there. Yeah, we fight poverty, restore dignity through messages of faith, freedom, and personal responsibility. So we are working there. But they find me on the internet. But personally, you're right. They won't recognize me because I'm going to put on my hat. I'm going to put on my glasses. I'm going to put on a mask. And then I'm going to change my name.
Okay. Star Parker, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
God bless you guys.
Thank you.
The DVD, End Times Investigation, this thing is flying out the doors, okay? I'm telling you, I'm so happy because I want to get this out to the world. You know, they're taking us off different platforms. They took 2 of my shows off last week. When I tell the truth, talk about things that makes people uncomfortable. So I put it in a DVD. This is some of the best interviews, 8 hours I've done with what I consider the top people that have devoted their life to these topics, such as one world government, new world religion, Satanism, astral projection, how the demonic movement connects with the alien disclosure. Okay, talking about end times miracles. If you're interested in this DVD, I'm not going to print a whole lot of them. It's going to be a limited run. I want you to text the word chosen to 91999. Text the word chosen to 91999. Or you can go to davidheavener.tv/order and pick that up. Also, get your Legalize Jesus t-shirt. Okay, see? So I've got one right here, Legalize Jesus. And I want you to wear it because it causes people to stop you and start asking questions. And a lot of religious people will stop and go, well, Jesus he's legal. Yeah, you know what? You just try living for Jesus. I'm talking about really living for Jesus and see how fast you end up in jail. I'm talking about really in every aspect, okay? So, no. You and I, in our world, we are legalizing Jesus because Jesus is legal in our world, and that's what I'm trying to say. So it starts a lot of conversations. please pick that up. You can text the word chosen to 91999 and get your Legalize Jesus mug right here. All right. Good coffee mug. I want you to go and sign up right now to davidheavener.tv. It's exclusive just to the members. You'll see we have 10 channels, okay? We have the Prophecy channel, Saving Baby channel, the original TV series channel, the Health and Survival channel, Bible and Prayer channel. Please go and support the ministry by signing up. You can get 2 months free if you do it now. davidheavener.tv.
In these last days, people will worship false gods. As the Antichrist arises, Christians will be persecuted. David Heavener Investigates is proud to bring you End Times Investigations, a new DVD series containing over 8 hours of interviews, commentaries, and teaching on Illuminati and the New World Order, Satanism, miracles and healings, the Antichrist, and one world religion.
Hi, I'm David Heavener, and I'm proud to bring you this brand new DVD collection, End Times Investigations.
David reveals how the media is working hand in hand with the Antichrist system. Order now and receive this special DVD collection. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006.